my friends, welcome back to my channel, and we're going to be working on part 5 now of this panda. I am going to refrain with much difficulty. I'm going to refrain from doing anything on his face right now. Maybe, probably. I'm going to try because I do want to start blocking in and getting some other stuff put in on here, and I want to save those last final little bit of details until I get a little bit more of the painting done. So there is one thing that I want to do before I start work over here, and it's just because sometimes there's just certain things that like bug you when you're looking at a piece, and this is bugging me. And so I want to just add a little bit of color, a little bit. I just want to work on it a little bit, and then I'll push the painting over and we will start over on this side. In this area here, between the black and the, I'll call it white, it's not really white, but you know what I mean, is some very rusty colors. So I'm going to mist a little bit of water there, and I'm going to put some of this in here. A lot of that will get covered with black, but that's okay. So we need a little bit of that. And actually, I think it needs a little... Some of my paint stayed nice and wet from yesterday, and some of it didn't. So just adding a little bit of burnt umber. All right, get yourself together now. It's like... That's a little bit better. And then the black will come in over the top of that. All right, and then I'm thinking that I need, I don't know, something here. So we're going to try this. This is that Grumbacher warm gray. Oh, that's better already. Yeah, so that's enough to satisfy me, I think. And then we can move on to over here. Okay, so this paw, it's a lot of black. I believe there's, we're going to be doing some kind of blues and purples, maybe just a little bit. I did lighten the photo. I did go with, take my Snapseed app and the brush tool, and then I clicked on exposure, and I kind of hovered, I brushed over with my finger this area, and it lightened this all up to the point where you could see all the little light hairs. This still remains quite black or dark. Yeah, it's pretty much black. But I like it much better now that it's been lightened and that you can actually see some of the hair details over here. So if you're looking at my reference photo on the screen and you're looking at, perhaps you're looking at the Instagram photo from Man and Wellner, hers is a little bit darker because this is not as light. So that's what's happening there. Okay, so I think the way I'm going to tackle this is put in mostly all black, then come in with white or light blue. I'm not sure what colors I'll use to brighten it up, and then glaze some other colors over the top of that. I think that's how I'm going to tackle it. So hopefully that's the right way to do it. And I just completely used the wrong thing here. All right, I'm going to put this his little ball, the little ball of his pads in. I think I'm going to use the cool, what am I going to use? I'm going to use some of that real cool gray from Blick Studios, the Blick Studio Cool Gray. Put that in. That's kind of, I think that's a pretty good mid-tone. We can add darks to that. We can add lights to that. And I think that'll work. And the one up above is even a little bit darker. And then it'll get, that's probably, well, that's fine. We can add some, I can add some more light to it, I guess. Might as well do it right now while the paint is still wet. So I'm trying to kind of get used to the concept of using a dry brush to blend. Like if I use a wet brush, if I come in with a dry brush, all of a sudden now it does a much nicer job blending that color out, which is what we want. So I don't know why it took me that long to figure out that I could do that, but all right. So I don't know why, but I'm just going to go ahead and put some paint in here too. Sometimes I do think I don't do things in the right order, but I just do them in the order that I'm kind of inspired to do them in, and so that's how that goes. It's kind of a pain to keep washing my brushes out all the time instead of leaving them in the water and just grabbing them. But every person that I've watched that talks about that does painting very definitively says not to do that it really ruins your brushes. And so I'm going to just take their advice right from the start and not do that. So, all right, I'm going to use kind of a medium-sized brush. It's an angle brush. It's what I have. My big flat brush is I feel like it's too big. It works great for doing big, vast backgrounds, but I think I want something a little bit smaller than that one. So I'm going to use this one. And let's see, do I want to start at the bottom? I better not start at the bottom. Where do I want to start? See, this even feels too big to me to be working up here. So let's just start putting it in down here. trying to remember that I will be going over things with lighter colors. So I do kind of want to make sure that I fill in the whole tooth of the canvas here, though. I don't think I want it so thin that we get all those holiday, what a funny word for that, holidays, little light spots. I do want it to be black. Okay, so I don't know what the right thing to do is. I'm always afraid that the white's not going to cover well enough, which is probably stupid. It probably will cover just fine. Because really, when you do that, you're limiting. You know what? I'm not going to do that. Because if I do that, I'm limiting where those I'm going to come in further and try and remember that I can come quite a ways further out when I go to add the white. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do that. And that should get me enough. Yeah, all right. That'll work. Trying to get a feel for the amount of water and the amount of paint. Too much water, and I'm not covering the canvas well enough, and not enough water, and it's just basically dry brushing, which we don't want. Boy, I hope this is right. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just gonna do black. And then come in and put all the lighter highlights and stuff over the top. If I start running out of frame, I apologize, but really it's not all that interesting. It's just me doing the same thing down at the bottom of the canvas. This looks so big to me, like the width of his arm feels like it's way too big, but so part of me is sort of tempted to bring it in just a hair. I don't know. I've got some room here to bring it in just a tiny little bit and still have green. All right, let me get some more paint in here. Okay, a little mist. I've got a couple of brushes here. Let's just see how we feel about things. So I'm playing around while I still have some leeway to. Because this little white, that white line that you see, that's the line that I have drawn in as my actual. Okay, that's going to make it a little bit too soft. I think what I'm going to do is stop here as far as the distance to that skinny line, and then I will let the really fine hairs that I will add be what carry it through to hit that line. And that chalk line that I have there above my canvas, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's it'll wipe right off with water. So anything that I don't cover will just disappear when I wipe it off. All right, I feel okay about that. We'll play with that edge a little bit more. All right, I'm going to switch to a smaller brush because I don't feel like I have enough control with that one. And we'll keep filling this in. Now I'm looking at what I have here. Sometimes if your photo that you're looking at is not in proportion to your reference photo, it's hard to figure out what you're doing. So for some reason, what is that? Oh, that's the edge of the tree. Duh. Okay. Now, all right. I got it now. I got it. Edge of the tree. It's like a little stump. Okay, and then above that, I have this marked, and I think that's just marked there because it's really extra black. So I'm going to cover it up, and I'm going to use my reference photo when the time comes to get all this stuff right. This brush definitely does not hold as much paint as the other brush. Okay, so getting those really soft edges, I feel like, is really important to me. Oh, sorry about that. Shaky camera. Yeah, so if I blend it out a little bit when it's wet. I like what that does. It just kind of pushes that. I hope that's enough. It's already dry. Okay, now we have some hairs back here. That I am going to probably want to use the brush on. I want these to be really fluffy. And I think I'll draw the, I think I'll worry about the fingernails. Not right away. I think I'll, well, that didn't do much, did it? Just a little more water. Okay. I think we'll put the fur in, then we'll put the fingernails in, then we'll put more fur in. I do not like the way this looks yet at all. We need some, I need some purple. I need some purples and blues. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of Dioxazine Purple and a tiny little bit of light blue violet. Just to see what that does. That's probably too much water. I need to stop worrying about that edge because I'm going to paint right over the top of that. This comes all the way down here. Where's my other brush? Darn it, when you need the brush fast and you can't find it, that stinks. This is not the brush that I want. Okay, where's my other brush? Right there. Changing brushes. And actually, probably what I should do is let this dry and just then go over it again. Okay, that's not terrible. But now that I'm looking at this area closer, these really fuzz together a lot. They're not as far away. So I'm curious. Scary, scary. That's not what I want. So now I'm having the issue of we're trying to work over the wet paint. So I'm stopping. I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll mess with that a little bit more. It's not terrible. It's going to be fine. And then adding the nails will make it put it a little bit more in perspective of things. So I'm going to leave that. This still needs to dry a little bit. So I guess I could come over here and put the black in on his shoulder, because that is also behind this thing. So that's what we'll do. Again, I'm going to just use black first, and then add the other stuff on top. This is the easy part. It's the edges that are hard. I better wash this brush out before I ruin it. Okay, I like what adding the darkness of the rest of his body is doing, though. Yeah, I do. Okay, this, oh dear, see this right here? This is all branch. That's branch right there. So I have to get that in before I can do this edge. I'm just gonna oh, I really didn't want to work on a branch right now, but I think I'm gonna have to. At least part of the way I have to get that in. What is she doing, you're asking? Well, I don't know. I'm just trying. Yeah. Really, the best thing to do would be to get that branch done. Okay, fine. Fine. So I'm going to scoot it back over. Maybe this is, I think that's probably dry enough. And we'll keep working on this. All right. I'm going to use the Blick Studio Neutral Gray. Again, if you don't have that, just mix whatever gray and white you have, and if it's not cool enough, then just add a teensy little bit of blue. And I could be completely, I might change my mind very quickly on this, but I'm gonna try using this brush. So the first thing I want to do is start to add some, and I have to remember that if they're too light, it's okay, because we're going to add other colors over the top. Specifically, I think I'm going to glaze some blue up here. But then I ask myself, well, why not try just putting the blue in right now and see what happens? Okay, let's do that. So if I go straight, to blue, what happens? Do I like it or do I dislike it? It's not coming off my brush as well as I would like. I think I'm going to try spraying the brush instead of adding more, instead of dipping it into more paint or more water. Oh yeah, that works pretty well. This may not be the right brush for me to be using though, that's the thing. So we're going to have to come back in with some stuff there. I don't like that. I'm being lazy, basically, trying to see if I can get away with fewer brush strokes, but I don't think, in this case, I don't think that that's the right brush for me to use. I'm not crazy about this. I'm not sure if I'm going to rub off all of my black paint or not, because it wasn't super duper dry. So I'm just tapping it, which is actually working out really well. It's lightening the area, but not, that worked, that actually worked out just fine. Okay. New plan, different brush. Okay, so I don't think I minded the blue because I'm afraid if I glaze blue over the black, because it's not super translucent, it might what am I trying to say? It might lighten my black too much. So I'm going to mix a little bit of blue with the gray. We're not going super duper duper blue yet. I'll use that for teeny tiny little details. That actually kind of worked out well to do it like that. I'm going to spray because I like to spray. All right, now we have a hair. We have a hair on our canvas. We don't want that. Ah, the joys of living with dogs. Okay. All right, so there's this little excuse me. I think I'm going to leave that and then brush back in with some black. All right, so we have all of these little white, I know I keep calling them white. I really should get out of the habit of doing that. I should say light, these little light hairs. Bear with me, I kind of have a camera in my face for this part. I could move the, yeah, I could. I can move this over a little bit. Okay. So these hairs are pretty heavy right here. actually. Whoops, that's not what, well, I'm tempted to leave that. Glaze over it. It's bright right now, but I think it'll be okay. I thought, oh, let's try what happens if we put a little bit of white in there. Well, now I see what happens. A little too much, but glazing will just take care of that. In fact, all of these hairs are probably going to get knocked back with a coat of either Payne, maybe some Payne's Gray, maybe some Ivory Black, because there are areas where... Now you see how that did not blend at all? That's because my canvas was not wet when I did that. And I actually don't like those, so I'm going to pull those back a little bit. The wet canvas first really makes a difference. Okay, we've got... I think a little bit more lightness in here. A little bit more in here. Okay, a little bit more. We've got quite a lot of space here that we have to fill. It's going to be cool to watch these get knocked back and look and see how much more real everything looks once we do that. I think that will be the case anyway. Just do a little, make sure we're... Okay. That's it. That's what we want. Okay. So I'm debating on what to do about the outer edge, I think. It's always so much harder to make the brush go the opposite direction of your, like pulling is, anyway, never mind. You know what I mean. This angle is kind of awkward. Swear to God, that spray bottle is the best purchase I ever made. when it comes to my paint supplies. I love what it does. Love, 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 love it. Okay. Sorry if my hand is in the way. Well, that was poor aim. I don't need the water over there. I'm not, I feel like I want to turn my canvas upside down. So I'm going to do that and see if that makes things any better. Okay, I know it looks weird. I'm sorry. Sometimes though, you just got to do what you got to do. So now that my canvas is in a position where I can make these marks feel a little bit more natural to me, I think it'll make me happier. We're going to go both ways. I'm blending in. I am planning on coming back in with some, more dark colors to go over these. So hopefully we get it all nice and soft. Something is not, and it's probably not a big deal, but what I was noticing was all of the little hairs were all running the same direction. And even though I'm planning on putting other colors on top, I don't want that. I want them to be crisscrossing over each other a little bit more. All right, let's try that. Okay, I think now when I add the black over the top, that edge will be good. At least I hope I'm right. I kind of feel like I want to do that before I start adding all of the rest of the hairs in here. I still have a lot more hair to add in here, so let's do that. My brush was getting dry. Okay, so really light, kind of blurry and messy in here, I think. All different directions of fur. More water. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Not enough water, I guess. If you have enough water on here, you almost don't even have to use the brush to blend because it kind of blends real nicely by itself. Just kind of bleeding into the water that's on here. Almost. Okay, I think we need to get a little bit more lightness in here so that when I glaze the other colors on top, they show. A little kind of crusty. We're going to have to add some dark around the edges there. Oh. And actually some light. Oh, I can cover it up if I have to with black again. Okay, so how do I feel? I'm almost ready. Almost ready to glaze some color. Almost. Don't like that. And I've got black, not black, green showing through here, which I don't want. I forgot to spray first, so that's not going to do what I want it to do. Let's take a clean brush. Let's try that. Okay. All right. I'm going to add some more black in. Actually, I'm wondering if I should try Payne's gray. Ooh, that might be too blue. Let me see. Actually, on top of the black, the Payne's gray, I think is going to be just fine. Because really all I'm trying to do is soften the edge where I put the white so that there's no starting point for those white hairs. And we want again. I think that's okay. This needs some more. such an awkward angle. I've just scoot it all the way over to the other side of my table so that I can pull instead of push. Yeah. Okay. More. I want to go. When I put these in, I don't want to go as bright as I did here. So I'm going to take Payne's Gray and I'm going to mix it with a tiny little bit of this neutral gray. Let's see what that does. I think the first layer will, I'll keep this like blended and really faint. And then I'll come in and add a few more lighter highlighty bits on top. Something about this edge down here though is just really not right yet. I think I need to add some more black. I'm not bothering to take the lighter color paint off my brush. If I get some of that on here, I think that'll be okay. Sorry if I'm out of shot down there. Okay, that's a little bit better. I'm not sure that I'm super crazy about the edge of this yet. But I don't know what to do to make it better. Just... All right, I need to let that dry. What I feel like is happening is that I keep working it, and then all of a sudden that green edge is showing through again, which is not what I wanted. So I'm going to stop working that very edge there for a little bit and come back to adding some more little random hairs in here. They're really subtle. You don't, they're, but I think they make a difference. It's so much better than it being just solid black. Went a tiny little bit lighter. The hardest part is having that really super light hand. Because if you press too hard, then your line gets thick. And I am finding that spraying my brush works better than dipping it in water. When I dip it in water, I often get too much water. But just misting the brush after I put some paint on it feels like it's working really well. Okay. I'm going to want to glaze. So I'm looking at my painting and I'm looking at the colors in the reference photo. And even though when I look at the reference photo, I go, oh, that's black, I am still feeling like it needs something else. So I'm going to take this blue. I don't know if it's going to show up at all once it's dry. It may not. But I'm putting this Payne's Gray. It's not blue, sorry, Payne's Gray. What is that? those just air bubbles or is that fuzz? That's weird. I can't tell. I don't know where the fuzz would have come from. Anyway, Payne's gray on top of this black. That's really bugging me. What is that? I think it's paint or fuzz of some kind. Very strange. I wonder if that's like dried paint from being on the brush. I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to change brushes because I don't trust that one anymore. And I'm going to take some of this Payne's gray and some Dioxazine Purple. That might be too much purple. More Payne's gray. Okay. Could go even maybe a little bit of translucent. Actually, it's called transparent glazing medium. All right, a little bit of purple there. Purplish tones right there. The question is it enough? I don't know. I think I still need to do a lot more light in here. And I need a little bit of very little bit of burnt sienna, which unfortunately I don't have on my palette. Just the tiniest little bit. There. Okay. Let's do some. I need to get this shading on his pad a little bit better. So let me get a brush to blend. So this needs to be a lot darker right in here. And then we need to be dark. when I bring my brush away, I'm actually wiping it off on a towel that I have on my lap. Okay, that's almost too much. It's taken away the 3D. And I think that paw needs to get bluer. Not paw. Pad? Is that what you'd call that? The pad? Yeah, the pad needs to get a little bit bluer. Black. Okay, so let's do that. What color? I'm afraid if I put straight the straight light, what color is this? Oh, light blue violet. I'm afraid if I put that on straight, I won't like it. So, because that's my fear, I am not going to put that on until that's all the way dry, because then if I don't like it, I can just wipe it off. So it's time to add a lot more hairs here. So I'm using my filbert comb, and it's actually starting to get good because it's starting to get a little bit imperfect, so that it's giving me a nice fuzzy, kind of fuzzy, clumpy look, which is good. That's what we want. I like how, depending on how I turn this brush, the fur strokes change. All right, I do need more paint though. Okay, you know. Might have to come back after that's dry. Feeling pretty good about this so far. Let's do some bit here. I think these might be too big. On the other hand, part of me likes it, so I might just leave it. Kind of. I can whatchamacallit? I can, oh, what's the word? Glaze? I can glaze it back a little bit if I need to. Okay, once that's dry, we'll do a little bit more there. Let's look up here at the top. I need to put a little bit of more of this light blue violet on my palette. And I'm going to use the neutral gray again to mix with it. A little bit. Sorry, did I just hit the camera again? Yes, I did. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try to do a few of these hairs. Actually, trying to follow the direction that they're going here in this reference photo. These look like they're coming down. Then I gotta get this darker in here. Trying to find where I mix my where I mix my colors on my palette. It's like, oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Oh boy. Did I wipe all of that off with my hand? Because this is gone. All that paint is gone. I must have wiped it off with my hand. Okay, that's all right. I wasn't crazy about it anyway. Okay. Different brush, I think. Oh, I gotta take a minute and clean my brushes. Being a bad girl, and they're sitting in the water. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Okay. I'm not unhappy. Let's try some Ivory Black. Ivory Black. I think this is. All right, I'm gonna just make a real thin kind of glaze to pull back some of these really bright bits. That's already kind of pulled back. That still has more brightness to go. This, we can pull this back a little bit. It kind of feels like if you can soften the transition from the point where your brush hits the canvas and you make your marks, you let that dry and come back over it and put a darker color at the top of that stroke. To me, all of a sudden now, it looks a lot more realistic because you're not actually seeing the harsh line of where that brush stroke came down. So I do like that. We need a lot more lightness here. I'm going to try just the neutral gray from Blick Studios first before I go in with white because I'm trying to be a good girl and get out of the habit of going straight for my white. Now I could mix white with some of this so it wouldn't actually be straight white, which probably would be a good idea. Trying to make this look like a ridge. That's not quite what I want yet. All right, let's add a few more hairs. We're going kind of crossing over the hairs that were in the layer before it. Still going in the same direction, but trying to give it a little bit more depth. Trying to figure out why that's so light. Okay, does that feel better? I do think that I need some light on the edge. So I'm going to try coming in. It's not ideal, but I just can't make my hand go the other way. So pulling works so much better for me than pushing. It's kind of hard because the point where you touch the canvas is usually the heaviest part, and then you pull up and it gets thinner. But I think I can make that work. It's coming together real nice. Or nicely. Coming together very nicely. All right, again, I'm in that spot where, I want to, let's see how light of a stroke I can make. We can always try doing that. If I can't, that's better. I do think I'm going to want to add some more purple, but it's going to need to be even lighter than what I did before because the purple now is not showing up very well. All right, do I have enough? I don't think I have enough light hairs down here. So again, I need to mix some white in with some Payne's gray. I want it to be dark-ish. Dark-ish. Let's see. We're going to take up a whole entire video just doing his one arm. It's getting better. think I'm going to add a few just, that might be too heavy, a few random hairs within the area here that's supposed to be pretty dark. Just boy, I'm telling you, having that canvas wet makes the paint spread and move on the canvas so much easier. Okay, we can push some of those back later. All right, I don't mind that. We're going to get some nice bright white right here, and we're going to have some white here, and I can always add more if I need to. Right? Right. I don't like this brush for this. Okay. Let's put a little bit of that blue color on top of. It's a really thin mixture. I have my towel ready to wipe it away if I don't like it. So let's just see. Nope, that's good. I'm good with that. Let's do that up here too. Yep, I'm good with that. All right, is there anything else that I want to add here before I move on? I want to add a little bit more hairs here. And now I want the purple, right? I want a little bit more purple right here. So I'm going to mix up. I think the Dioxazine Purple is the right color to use. I think we just need a little bit of white, just a teensy little bit of white in with it. And then, oh, you know what I should have done? All right, I'm starting over. Scratch that. I'm going to take that Dioxazine Purple and I'm going to mix it with transparent mixing white. That way we get, I think it'll lighten it, but it won't make it super opaque. I hope I'm right, because it looks really light right now. I don't. Let's try putting it in like we would put hairs in. It made it a little bit more lavendery colored than I think I want. I think I want it more deeper blue, more blue. I don't hate it, but I think it needs to be bluer. So what do you do in that case? What color do I use? I could use Ultramarine Blue, which is semi-opaque. I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not. I might hate this. But I'm adding a tiny bit of that into the mixture. It's almost too blue then, huh? Actually, you know what? No, I like it. I think I like it. I wanted to make sure that I did not make his hair nothing but black and gray. I wanted purples and blues in it, and I think that that is just fine. I actually like it. Yep, I do. Okay, is there anywhere else where I want some of this since I've got it on my brush? Let's use it just to soften this a little bit. This is still a problem. This is still a problem. I gotta fix that. It's making me crazy. It's dry. I'm going straight for black. I don't know what I did to make that so wrong. Now when I put the black in, I've got to blend it with everything else or it'll look terrible. I might have to come back again. Some lighter stuff. Actually, I am going to do that right now because I feel like that was too solidly light. So I'm just going to put some black back in. Did that make sense what I just said? I have no idea. I put that lighter color over the top and I think I put too much on it. That's better. That's better. Okay, I'm good with that for my start, I think. For my 80% finished spot. Actually, I think I need a little bit more, a little bit more light right there. Maybe we try a different color gray. Let's try the I've got clumps of paint in my paint, clumps of drying paint in my paint. Okay. I want a little bit more. So this is the warm gray. They call it neutral gray 5, but it's, to me, it's a very warm gray. That's good. I like that. Dotted like that. Brushed. All right. Let's get some dark black. All right, up in here. All right, fix this and we may be at the finish of this video. Spray. going to dry this with a blow dryer because I put a lot of water on that, and I think I put too much water on it. Does it need something? I don't know. Maybe if I just, I'm gonna dry that real quick, and then we'll do the nails, I think. All right, I'm just gonna work on these claws real quick. They're a little tiny bit intimidating to me. I did decide to take my chalk, my pastel pencil. You can get Generals at Hobby Lobby. This happens to be a pit, but it's just what I happened to pull out. And the nice thing about these Liquitex Basics, because they're so matte when they dry, is that you can mark on them with the pastels and they make a mark. So the thought of going straight into the painting of them made me a little bit freaked out because I was a little nervous about that. So I think I'm going to pull out this new brush because it has a nice super pointy end. What was I saying? Sorry. Yeah, so I drew them on there because, and I feel better about that now. So I was going to try and get this end off, but I'm not going to waste time doing that. So I think I have to put white down. I don't know. I'm going to put white down. And I haven't decided if I'm going to put it down on the whole thing or just on the top edge, but we'll start on the top edge. I can always glaze it back, but this way it's nice and light. This way it's nice and light so that it shows up bright. Okay. I don't know why the paint's not flowing nicely. Come on now. There we go. This one gets hair in front of it. They look funny. Doesn't look right to me yet. All right, I'm going to take some. Yeah, the colors on this are being a little bit difficult for me. I'm not quite sure what colors to use on this. So I'm playing around with different things. Playing around with brown and raw sienna. And I feel like none of them are going to be right. I don't know what to use. I'm thinking that it's pretty obvious that I should have put white down before I put those darker colors because they're not showing up, and this is just not going well. Okay, blend it a little bit. Then we have to darken this edge. Okay, these are going to be hard. Yeah, don't. Okay. I don't. Okay, I'll let that one dry. Well, I'm going to do this one the same way. And then this color has to blend up into that white a little bit. Okay, that doesn't suck too bad. Thank goodness they're just a teeny tiny part of the painting. I think that might be sufficient. It does need a little bit more white, though. Covered up a little bit too much of the white. It's actually not really white. It actually should be like a gray, like a super light gray. Maybe that's the problem. Needs a little bit more. All right, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let that dry, and if I decide that it's too bright, I'll glaze it back. Because I don't want to mess with it too much. I do want to do that. And actually, it needs some highlight on the underside, doesn't it? Don't know if I like that. All right, I don't, maybe this brush. just making a mess. Just making a mess. It's not right. That just doesn't look. It doesn't look right. How do I make it look right? Well, I'm not going to stress about it. Okay. Okay. So I think we're probably going to be done. I want to just want to see if putting a few of these in here makes a difference. Okay, well, I like that. I'm not sure that I like what's happening on this ear yet still. I think, but I don't know how to fix that one. It needs to be fuzzy and softer out in here. But that's not gonna, I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that. I don't know what that would be. Because it almost looks like there's kind of a super soft, fuzzy blue rather than purple blue glow. And then the black feathery fur over the top. So I'll work on that later. I'm fairly happy with the way this has come out. It's not finished. There's still some more detail work to be done here. But again, I'm going to try and not do all the detail work at the beginning of the piece. So I think on the next one, we'll do this tree branch, get this basically side of the painting done. Then we'll work, and we'll also work on this fuzzy part here, the other part of his face. Then we can work on this branch, and then we can work on his arm. But for the most part, I'm really happy. And actually, those claws don't look so bad now that I'm stepping away from them a teeny little bit, so that's good. All right, guys, if you stuck with me through the whole entire video, thank you so much for being here. You guys are the best. Love to you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.